OpenAI has introduced 4.0 image generation. So, this is a new image generation capability directly within the GPT 4.0 model, meaning you can now generate stunning imagery right within ChatGPT, much, much more advanced than the previous DALI image generation capability. According to OpenAI in the launch announcement, quote, GPT 4.0 image generation excels at accurately rendering text, precisely following prompts, and leveraging 4.0's inherent knowledge base and chat context, including transforming uploaded images or using them as visual inspiration. These capabilities make it easier to create exactly the image you envision, helping you communicate more effectively through visuals and advancing image generation into a practical tool with precision and power. Now, you might get from that quote, this is not just a better image generation tool. It is a fundamentally different one. So this is actually baked right into the 4.0 model. So that model is truly multimodal. And as a result, it gives it new capabilities. So it can produce much better images because the full intelligence of 4.0 is brought to bear on the prompt, which didn't used to happen with image generation in ChatGPT. It's better at generating text and images, way, way better, which was a weakness of past image generation models. And you can also upload and edit or manipulate images using the tool. So you can change any element or apply any style to an existing photo or picture. Now, what's really cool here is it has quite the capacity for, quote, in context visual refinement. So you can kind of progressively prompt and shape the image through conversation with GPT 4.0 and still maintain visual consistency across multiple iterations. So if you start a new iteration, it's not going to look totally different than the image you started with. So right now, this is available in ChatGPT Plus, Pro, and Team. Sam Altman posted that because of insanely high demand, their GPUs are, quote, melting, and the rollout to the free tier is going to be delayed for some time. So, Paul, there is actually a whole piece of this we're going to address as its own topic in the next topic, which is the fact that this image generation has gone viral with people generating images in a popular animation style. But before we get to all that, I want to first get your initial impressions of this. Like, I know you've used it. Like, have you found it as impressive as everyone's claiming it is?
Yeah, so I did have a chance to finally experiment with it on Wednesday, I think it was. I think it came out on Tuesday, so I guess it wasn't too long after. Um, I thought it was interesting timing. Always OpenAI likes to drop things right after Google drops things. So we'll talk about 2.5 from Google, which came out at like 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. that morning. And then at 1 p.m., OpenAI drops their image generation thing and sort of like steals the thunder. But we will come back on the Gemini model. It's quite impressive on its own. So I wanted a use case to test the text part of it because that has been a massive flaw of these models previously. And so I actually make my kids' birthday signs. My mom used to do this for me when I was a kid. It was like one of my favorite things. My birthday, you wake up in the morning and there's like signs made around the house. And so I carry on that tradition. And so every year for my kids and my wife, I make them birthday signs and hang them up around the house. And so this year I thought, well, let me see if I can make these with ChatGPT image generation. And so I just went in and gave my son's name and said he's turning 12, and I want to do like some fun and clever sayings on signs. I'm going to give you some themes and like let's develop some stuff. And so it was really fascinating because the first thing I did was Pokemon,
Hmm.
and so it would create it, and I asked for specific characters, and it would create it, and then it would just disappear, and I was like, "What the hell was that?" Like, it was there, and then it would say, "Oh, due to copyright or whatever, we can't generate this image." I'm like, "Yeah, you can, you just did, like, do it again." And it's like, "Well, I can't do that one, but I can make one that looks like this." And I was like, "Fine, do that." And it would come out looking almost exactly like the actual character, but it wasn't the character. And so I immediately realized, like, okay, there's some filter, like classifier here that's not rooting out your initial request for copyrighted images, but it's like extracting it. So I don't know. Anyway, we'll come back to the copyright thing in a minute. But it was able to start creating these things. So I asked for like a 8-bit baseball one because he loves video games. I asked for like Minecraft related things, and it was able to roughly do those. and that it nailed the text. It had like one typo in like 12
Hmm.
signs that I made. It was like one. It spelled his name wrong, and I was like, "Hey, you did that wrong," and it fixed it. So, it definitely is quite impressive. I think that I immediately started, when you're online on Twitter, you just see all of these, not only the Studio Ghibli things that we'll talk about, but you were seeing like ads being made, people
Yeah.
taking like Coke signs and dropping them into backgrounds, and you start realizing like if people weren't aware of the impact these tools are going to have on creative workers, creative firms, movie production, stock photography. It is quite apparent when you spend some time looking at the samples of what people are building or when you just start building things yourself. These capabilities are significant, and you can definitely start to imagine a world where you're using AI more and more in creative work. And then, the other thing I thought about when I tested this is Sora's next. Like,
Yep.
the video generation stuff is the prelude to that. And so imagine this level of control and consistency, but applied to 10, 15, 20-second videos. I got to imagine when the GPU shortage sort of goes away and they have more capacity, that capability is probably already sitting in there is my guess. They just don't have enough GPUs to roll it out. So image and video, yeah, just like whole another world. And that's you can go look at VO2 from Google, their video gen model, and Imagine 3 from Google. Like they're similar, certainly, probably on par with some of this stuff. So yeah, we're taking some leaps, I think, this year in image and video generation for sure.
I want to just talk for a quick second about maybe some of the bigger implications here that you alluded to for, say, creatives or like business use cases, because like I've always found it pretty fun and creative, no doubt, to like generate images. It's impressive. Like it's
Yeah,
really cool the stuff we had before. But honestly, now with the text being accurate, I was generating literally mock-ups of ads in old styles of like really good ads with their logos, the exact font and stuff. It was crazy how accurate it was. Like you could see yourself now actually using this to create
totally.
high quality ads, business visuals. I could see infographics, charts, things like that at some point.
Yeah, and I think, if anybody's watching this on YouTube, in my background, there's a extra size copy of the cover of our book, the artificial intelligence book. There's a logo of Macon, like there's different things back there. And I start thinking like as a non-designer, I wouldn't say non-creative, but like I have no design capabilities at all. And when we wanna do projects like that, you are relying on the designer to, like, get the vision out of your head, but all I
Mhm.
have is words, like, I can't sketch it, I'm not good at that. And now to think about, Mike, like, to your point, whether it's a logo, a web page design, interior design of your home,
Mm,
the design of a book or a digital asset, um, all of it, you can now just use words or a driving image, like, "Hey, I love these 3 book covers. Develop some in this theme, but here's the words for the cover." And then say, "Oh, no, 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 like, oh, that's awesome. Let's do that in blue." And all of a sudden, non-designers have these abilities, and I don't know what that means, honestly. And I don't think OpenAI knows what it means. I don't think Google knows what it means. But I think it's really important that we have these conversations because I just feel like these tools are starting to truly creep in to democratize the ability to build things. And I don't know what that means to the people who do that work daily, for a living. I think some of them obviously are just going to take these tools and have superpowers and continue on. And a lot of the world's going to just be ignorant to the fact that these are even possible. Like that, you can have business leaders who don't know you could go do some of this stuff yourself or at least mock things up yourself. But I think that's more and more what's gonna happen in all the knowledge work is whether you're working with an attorney, an accountant, a graphic designer, you're gonna have the ability to do the first drafts yourself now for anything basically. And you still may rely on the experts to do the final products and bring it home, but some of that early work might just be done by the AI. Here's a draft of my talk, like, and then give it to the speechwriter and let the speechwriter fine tune it. Here's a financial analysis of the business, and then let the financial analysts do their final work. Like, I don't know. Like, again, I don't understand what the implications are, but it's a reality. Like, these tools are there. They're beyond first draft capability in most of these things.
Yeah, and just quickly thinking out loud, I wonder even if you accept that your designer or creative professional has superpowers with these tools, I wonder how that'll change expectations. Like, I'd be like, why can't you give me 100 variations in the next
Today.
2 hours, or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
so why is this taking 2 weeks?
maybe I'm a jerk for saying that, but I feel like the expectations of what's possible if you assume someone is enabled or empowered with these tools has just changed.
100%. Yeah, and I mean, we worked in an agency. I 100% could see that, like, the expectations just become way faster, way cheaper, way better, and I think that's gonna be a reality for service firms and internal, creatives and writers and things, is like, once everyone catches on to what these things can do, the expectations for what you do is going to change, and I think the faster you get there and be proactive about this, the better prepared you'll be. You don't want to, like, sit or wait around until all your clients figured out that you could do things way faster.